So coming up next, we have some common questions that I hear about the Sleep Sense program, plus a little interview with one of our happy customers that I hope you'll stick around for. The common questions I get asked all the time, or I feel like I've tried everything. And I get it. You probably have tried some things. But here's what people normally do. And I was guilty of this myself. Before I knew how to fix my son, I would be sort of at a moment of pure frustration in the middle of the night. Let's say it's 3 o'clock in the morning. And I'd say to my husband, let's just let him cry. Somebody said that works. Let's let him cry it out. And so he cries really hard for 20 minutes. I start to panic because I don't know what I'm doing. 20 minutes feels like a long time. I go in and I rescue him. That's normally what people say when they tell me they've tried things. And I want to explain why we're different. So doing it that way is like putting one puzzle piece on your board and calling your puzzle finished. There's just things have to line up. You have to be doing things in the right order. We have to have the timing right. You know, we got to be really cognizant of breaking the prop association. So there are steps involved. It's not as simple as let's just let him cry. That's not the answer. So this system is based on your baby's age. So you're going to be getting customized advice for your baby's developmental age. It's customizable for the child's personality too. So again, this isn't a one size fits all. I give you a couple of options for how we're going to solve this problem. And I want you to pick one that feels best for you. It's delivered in bite-sized segments, so you never feel overwhelmed. It's only the information you need for that day. I'm not going to, bore you or blind you with science behind it. I already explained all of that to you today. So we can cut right to the chase and get to the good stuff. I've got your back with any questions that come up. And I tell you, in 20 years, it's not a question I can't answer. So I'm not worried. I want you to feel confident that I'm here to help. All right. So here's someone who tried something different. She tried a different program and she didn't have success with it. And then she tried the Sleep Sense program and felt like it was the answer. It was the method that worked for her and she couldn't be happier. Another question I get asked, and this is a really, really popular question, is Sleep Sense a cry it out system? So the short answer is no. But listen, again, making changes to anyone's sleep habits. If I came into your room tonight and asked you to do a bunch of things differently, you would have some protest around that. You would, I don't like those changes. I want to keep things the same. Even when you know it's for your greater good, you're still going to have resistance around it. So making changes to anyone's sleep habits would be met with protest. And so there's no way to do this with a child without any kind of protest on their part. Anyone who tells you that they have a no tears solution to your sleep challenges is telling you a lie, because it's just not possible. If it were, I would share it with you. I 100% would. But again, in all my years of experience, I just know that sleep changes are hard to make at first, and there's going to be a little bit of resistance to that. But I'm not going to ask you to leave your baby alone. And that's what most people get hung up on, is this idea that, like, I know I kind of created these problems and now I have to leave you by yourself in your crib to figure it out and work it out. That doesn't sit right with a lot of parents. So I'm not going to ask you to do that. You can be there absolutely every step of the way. You're a cheerleader at the side of the crib. We're going to do this with your baby every step so that they learn the skills that they need to learn and feel supported through the process. So, but if you're not, like, if you're the kind of parent, you're like, I'm not even going to let my baby whimper, then this isn't the program for you. And I wish you the best of luck and hope that you do find something, but this is the gentlest step that we can make to change, to positive change. All right, here's a testimonial that she said she tried a similar program, but it was not successful because it meant leaving the baby to cry without checking, and the routine was completely inflexible. So that's not what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to make this as easy as possible on everyone involved. And we're going to get you to success. And it's so short term. It really is. Like, you got to look big picture. A couple of nights of upset on the baby's part to learn great sleep skills for life, it's worth it. 100%. I bet my life on that one, that it's absolutely worth it. All right, question 3. What age is Sleep Sense appropriate for? Now, this is a great question because I hear so often from parents and from communities that there's some magic age where you can start sleep training, that you have to wait until a baby is 4 months or 6 months. I hear all kinds of different age ranges. You don't have to wait. You can start getting a baby down the right road to great sleep skills from day one. I had 2 other children after I started this business, and they were both sleeping 10 hours by 10 weeks. And the good news about starting early is that there's no habits you have to break, because you're just helping your baby learn as they go. You don't have to cry it out. There's no upset to habit change. You're just helping your baby develop some beautiful independent sleep skills. And again, because sleep is a normal and natural process, if you just guide them down the right road, they find it and they start becoming really great sleepers. Now, the content obviously is completely different. If we're talking about a newborn baby, the advice I give you is going to be a lot different than if we're talking about a 12-month-old who's nursing 5 times a night. So the content is different, obviously, and we're not leaving newborns to cry, never, ever. But we can teach them, we can guide them down that right road. And on the other end, it's never too late to learn good sleep skills, because I really do believe that if you can learn them at any point in your life, then they go with you, they carry with you, and you become an adult who has some great sleep habits and sleeping well through the night. So many adults don't. So, if you've got an older child, this program's for you too. We can absolutely get your older child sleeping through the night. So Kate started the program when her baby was just 2 weeks old. She just needed some help and some guidance getting him to fall asleep on his own without nursing, and saw great success with his daytime naps and getting him sleeping longer stretches through the night. So it absolutely is applicable for a newborn baby as well. All right, you have other children and you don't want the baby to wake up the other children. This holds people back, and it's a shame, because we could have solved this problem in a few nights and had everybody sleeping great night after night. But a lot of people hold off because they're really worried about this older child waking up. So here's some tips for that. Number 1, you have to get over it. Right? You absolutely have to get over this. That, yes, okay, there might be a night or 2 here or there where your baby is going to wake up that older child. And that's just the hill that has to be climbed to get to the other side. If a couple of nights where everybody's awake for a period of time is what has to happen in order for great sleep for everyone for life, that's a no-brainer, right? Let's do it. So there's some things you can do. Can we move the older child somewhere else? I would say this is for sort of a 3 and up age range child, even if it meant he slept on the air mattress in the office for a couple of nights. Just don't bring him into your bed, because a couple of nights in bed with you, and that might be where he wants to stay forever. But it could be a mattress on the floor in your room, or anywhere that we can move this older child. And depending on the period of the night, the older child might be in stage 3 sleep. So there's still a good chance that even if the baby's awake and crying, this other child is in such a deep piece of their cycle that they don't hear it. I mean, there were times when the fire alarm would go off in our house and no kids would wake up because they were all in that deep part of their cycle. So it won't happen every time. And again, like I said, this is just a few nights of disruption for the greater good of everyone sleeping well. I think it's worth it. And here's an example of that. So she had a 2.5-year-old and an 11-month-old, and she wanted them to share the room, but she was so worried that the 11-month-old was going to disturb her older child that she just wouldn't make any steps. She wouldn't take any steps to getting the little one sleeping well. And she emailed me, asked me a couple questions about how to do this. I gave her guidance. We moved the older child out of the room for a few nights, and we got the little one sleeping well. My baby really fights sleep. So a lot of people write to me and say, My baby hates sleep. They'll often tell me, fight sleep. And neither of those things are true. So if that's what the story you're telling yourself about your own child, let me just squash that. That's not true. That's not what's happening. And as an expert, when I hear people tell me that, I take it as a positive sign. What was working is no longer working. That's what that means. If it used to take 5 minutes to rock her to sleep and now it's taking 45 and she's fighting it every step of the way, that means that what you're doing is really not working for her. It's just not working for her. And I think what she's trying to tell you is, hey, I'd like a better way, please. Can somebody show me? And so I find that children who are fighting sleep or hate sleep take to this really quickly. And they're the ones that were by night 2, we're seeing just massive improvement. They could be sleeping right through. It's almost like they're just like, they want to know how to do this independently. They just need to be shown the road. Yeah, once the stubborn baby that you've got is shown the road, they become really great sleepers. So there's no such thing as a baby fighting sleep or hating sleep. I mean, again, sleep is a natural function. It's a need. We all need it. So, that would be like saying my baby hates food. It's a need. So there's just a love to it naturally. And once we show the baby the road, then they do begin to love sleep. And who doesn't? And who shouldn't? Everybody deserves that. And here's Amanda telling me her 30-month hated sleep. He hated it. And in just 10 days, she went from fighting sleep to happily going down for naps in her crib and sleeping soundly from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. every night. And she doesn't need to nurse anymore at all. So it's a game changer. It makes such a huge difference. And she tried everything. Look at pediatrician, chiropractor, looking for answers until she found Sleep Sense. All right, hunger is a popular question that I get asked. Is my baby waking up because they're hungry? Is that the issue? And I get it. I absolutely get it. And as a mother, especially when our job is to feed our baby, that's like our number one job, right? Keep this baby alive with food. I understand why it's such a hard decision to make around whether or not your baby's hungry. But after a certain age, there's no caloric need that needs to be satisfied in the night. And roughly, and every baby's different, if your baby has weight issues or health concerns, but my rule of thumb around this is 6 months and up. Again, there can be exceptions to that, but at the age of 6 months and up, this is most likely not a food issue. This is a strategy issue. Your baby is looking to get back to sleep. The food is a perk. That's it. No caloric need. And it's not really about pulling the feed. It's just about reorganizing them. So whatever calories your baby's missing out on in the night will be made up during the day, either with more ounces in a bottle or longer feeding sessions or more sort of aggressive sucking so they get more content per feed. This is biology, right? A baby has a caloric need and they meet it every day. They have to. It's just the way their body is designed. So they'll catch up. I promise. They absolutely will catch up. Because some babies just become habitual nighttime eaters, right? If you woke up at 3 a.m. and somebody was sitting there with your favorite meal, you'd probably eat every bite. Now, should you be eating in the middle of the night? Do you need to be eating in the middle of the night? No, you don't. You shouldn't and you don't. But you would, right? We're very capable of eating when we don't need to be eating. So that could be the problem too, is that you're offering a feed at 3 a.m. This 12-month-old is going to wake up at 3 a.m. looking for the feed for as long as you're going to offer it. All right, Martina is mentioning that her baby, her breastfed baby was falling asleep at the breast and waking up regularly through the night to be fed. She understood that he clearly didn't need to be fed in the night anymore, so they decided to pull the nighttime feeds. It took 3 days for things to improve, and he's now sleeping 11 to 12 hours through the night. So I get it that there is, there's that period of time where you might be a little uncertain, and I can even allow you to keep a feed. There's lots of little ones out there that a feed is appropriate in the middle of the night, and we can still do the program even if you're offering a nighttime feed. It's not about the feed, it's not about the food, it's about how this child's falling asleep. So if he learns the skills he needs for falling asleep at bedtime, this will carry through the rest of the night. So if we offer a feed for a few nights to kind of bridge the gap, as long as we're keeping this baby awake through the feed, that's not the problem. Okay, so if that makes it easier, that I'm not militant about this idea that we can't feed babies in the night. Sure, we can. We just have to do it correctly so that they learn the skills they need to sleep well.